These are the moments when everything changed in the blink of an eye. When one wrong step, one gust of wind, or one unexpected slip meant the difference between survival and disaster. So hang on for the most unbelievable close calls that shocked the whole world. A cyclist was riding through the woods when he noticed a train tunnel. Curiosity got the best of him, and he decided to ride through. Just as he entered, the eerie sound of a train siren echoed in the distance. Panic set in as he realized the train was coming. Without a second thought, he pedaled as fast as he could, racing against time. He barely made it out, the train rushing past him just inches away. It was a heart-stopping moment with only seconds to spare. But he made it out alive. Landing goes wrong. A beginner pilot was in the middle of his training on a biplane, but things quickly went off track. The plane lost control, and the staff rushed onto the runway, trying to guide him. With speed skyrocketing, it seemed impossible to land safely. Despite the chaos, the pilot managed to bring the plane down, but it wasn't pretty. It skidded across the runway, missing a staff member by mere inches before coming to a halt. It was a close call that no one will forget. One thing's for sure, that staff member will be telling this story for years! Miraculous escape. Oh! These two friends, skilled in skateboarding, were heading home after a long practice session. One of them, a little too confident, didn't bother stopping before crossing the street. Without checking left or right, he just glided right onto the road on his skateboard. Out of nowhere, a speeding truck came toward him, almost hitting him at full speed. Miraculously, he dodged it by inches. One of those moments that feel like a close call straight out of a movie. It was pure luck he got away unscathed. But the truth is, that was a reckless decision. Confidence turned careless, and it could have ended horribly. Oh! Platform peril. Back in 2008, a group of tourists was recording one of the busiest train stations. Among the crowd, an elderly man was completely unaware that he was standing just inches from the edge of the platform. Trains whizzed by, mere seconds apart. Then, one train zoomed past him. It was so close, it felt like a scene from an action movie. But the guy was safe. Plane close pass. One footage captured a soldier lying on the ground, while a plane flew directly overhead. It appeared to be a landing zone, and that's likely why the soldier was there. However, the plane passed so close that it could have easily ended badly for him. Surprisingly, the soldier seemed unfazed, showing no concern as the plane soared right above him. When the footage went viral, people had different theories. Some believed he wasn't fully conscious, while others thought he was injured, but miraculously survived the close call. Missed jump. A parkour runner took on a daring jump between high-rise rooftops, but misjudged the distance and slipped. For a split second, it seemed like he was falling to his doom. But in a miraculous turn, he grabbed onto an electric wire and managed to catch himself. The whole moment was captured on his GoPro, leaving viewers stunned by his close call. His quick thinking and luck saved him from a life-threatening accident, but it's definitely a jump he'd never want to repeat. Unexpected liftoff. These two guys were all set for a smooth, hang-gliding ride, except one small detail. One of them wasn't even strapped in. Yep, they took off, and only mid-air did the guy realize he was just hanging on with pure arm strength. He grabbed onto his friend like his life depended on it. Well, it kinda did. Luckily, the pilot stayed calm, found a nearby spot, and landed them both safely. Honestly, that grip strength deserves a medal. Next time, maybe double check the harness before flying off a cliff. Just saying. Skater versus bus. This longboarder was cruising down a steep hill, enjoying the rush, when the unimaginable nearly happened. As he picked up speed, a bus came into view, heading straight toward him. The longboarder had no time to react, but by some miracle, he swerved just in time to avoid being hit. The bus, barely missing him, continued on its way, oblivious to the close call. It was a split-second decision that saved him from a disaster. That moment could have been the end of the ride, but luck was on his side that day. Close call flip. This one's wild. On a beach in Hong Kong, this guy's doing a casual parkour flip from a first-floor ledge, just regular public stunt stuff. But midair, a random biker decides to stop right where he was about to land. The jumper notices last second, stumbles during the landing, but manages to avoid crashing into the cyclist. It looked like the world's slowest close call. No one was hurt, just a lot of confused looks, and probably an awkward laugh or two. Next time, maybe check your landing zone before you launch yourself off a building. Unconscious driver. While driving, this man suddenly passed out behind the wheel. Instead of hitting other cars, his vehicle swerved off the road, crashed through a fence, and kept going into open fields. It was pure luck that no one got hurt. Luckily, the man woke up in time and, let's just say, fate took the wheel in his absence. Helmet goes solo.
Incredible placement right there.
Now this one's kinda hilarious. A guy jumps off a cliff for a free-fall adventure, but mid-air, his helmet decides it's done for the day and slips off. The GoPro attached to it, still rolling like a champ. So instead of a cool POV shot, we get this camera spinning through the sky on its own little trip. Surprisingly, it caught the whole fall in a way no one planned. But honestly, it looked epic. The guy was fine, by the way. Just a bit surprised to see his camera doing the jump without him.
Incredible placement right there.
No parachute dive. So Travis Pastrana really said, "Who needs a parachute?" and jumped out of a plane at 12,500 feet, wearing just surf trunks, socks, sunglasses, and holding a can of Red Bull like he was heading to the beach, not the sky. The whole thing was filmed, and honestly, it looked unreal. Like this guy free fell through the sky without any gear to slow him down. It's bold, it's wild, and it made a lot of people sit up straight. Some people just sip Red Bull. Travis apparently dives with it. Can't tell if that's confidence or just pure adrenaline. Lucky deer. A YouTuber was traveling across different states on his bike, and this time, he was heading to the woods near Colorado's mountains for a camping trip. Everything was going smoothly, until, out of nowhere, a deer crossed the road in front of him. Before he could react, a collision with the deer seemed imminent. Miraculously, he barely avoided it, as his speed didn't slow down in time. It was a close call, inches away from disaster. One might say it was a miracle, or maybe just good luck. Either way, the YouTuber couldn't believe how he escaped unharmed. Saved by friend. A group of friends went rock climbing, but one wasn't very skilled. As they climbed, everything went well, until one friend panicked and slipped. Just as it seemed like the fall would be disastrous, another friend caught his hand, stopping the fall and safely guiding him down. With quick thinking and a steady grip, friendship truly saved the day, proving that no one climbs alone. Cops' crazy run. A biker took a shortcut through the woods and got lost. Moments later, a cop showed up, but instead of helping, he started acting strange. He began chasing the biker and even tried to snatch his stuff. Thankfully, the biker's GoPro recorded everything, and that footage later helped authorities take action against the officer. Brave biker.
Come here!
A biker set up his GoPro and was about to start his journey when something unusual caught his attention. A thief on a cycle snatched a phone from an elderly woman right in front of him. Without thinking twice, the biker showed great bravery. He left his own bike behind and chased after the boy. In a swift move, he pushed the thief off his cycle and grabbed the phone back. The thief, now without his cycle, fled the scene. The biker returned the phone to the woman, making sure she was safe before continuing his ride.
Stay down! Alright!
Skiing race.
You!
A group of friends were enjoying skiing on a bright sunny day. They decided to race down the slope, and the one in the lead suddenly stopped, right in front of a cliff. A few more inches, and he would have fallen. But the others weren't paying attention. They didn't stop on time and went straight off the edge. Luckily, the fall wasn't too deep, and they all survived.
You!
Speed and balance. YouTuber Dan Sidran is walking along a cliff edge, showing off the breathtaking views. But with each step, it feels like he's daring the edge to give way. One wrong move, and it could have been an unexpected dive into a deep situation. On the other hand, his friend, Remy Métayer, is speeding down a steep mountain. He zooms past boulders and rocks like it's nothing. But hey, let's just hope the brakes are working, because that's one ride you can't afford without them.
Woohoo!
Dumb thieves. A mountain biker decided to take a shortcut through the woods, thinking it would be quicker. But little did he know, it would turn into a bad decision. As he was riding, a group of thieves appeared out of nowhere. They stole his bike, phone, and other belongings. But what they didn't notice was the GoPro attached to his helmet, recording everything. They left behind the most expensive item, which had clear evidence against them. Later, with the help of the footage, the police tracked down and arrested the gang. Fallen bridge. Camping trip in Colombia turned into chaos real quick. A group of tourists had to cross an old, worn-out bridge deep in the woods. It looked risky from the start. Thin ropes, creaky planks, but they all decided to go for it. Bad move. Halfway through, the bridge gave out. Everyone tumbled straight into the river below. Surprisingly, no one got seriously hurt, just soaked and shaken. But honestly, crossing that fragile bridge together, that was a gamble they were lucky to survive. Snow trap. Snowboarding always looks fun until the mountain decides it's not. A man named Soren Alexandra Radu was filming himself while gliding smoothly down a steep slope. The scene looked perfect, with fresh snow covering the ground like a soft blanket. But that snow wasn't just pretty. It was dangerous. As his board sliced through the powder, the vibration triggered an avalanche right behind him. He tried to race ahead, but the snow caught up fast. Within seconds, he was buried waist deep, the force pushing even his board away. He somehow kept his head above the snow and avoided getting trapped. It wasn't a massive avalanche, but it was enough to make anyone's heart stop. He walked away unharmed, but it could have easily ended very differently. Trail madness. This ride wasn't just wild, it was almost unbelievable. Remy Métayer flew down rugged mountain trails with nothing but his bike and a GoPro Max capturing every second. The path was narrow, the drops were steep, and the turns came out of nowhere. At one point, it looked like he might flip over a cliff or slam into a sharp rock wall. But with insane control and nerves of steel, he kept pushing forward. The near misses were so close, it felt like he was riding on the edge of disaster the whole way. One bad move, and it would have been a different story. Intense flight.
Vive la France!
This wasn't just a wingsuit flight, it was a heart-pounding ride through danger. Graham Dickinson jumped off the cliffs of Chamonix, France, with a GoPro on his helmet. What followed was pure chaos. He zipped past sharp rocks, dodged trees, and squeezed through tight mountain gaps, each one closer than the last. It looked like any small mistake could lead to disaster, but with steady hands and sharp focus, he kept going. The whole flight felt like watching someone thread a needle at lightning speed. Unbelievable, risky, and beyond intense. Stunt gone wrong. In Switzerland, skiing is a popular activity, with many people hitting the slopes. But some areas are so crowded, it feels like a busy road with cars. Skiers need to keep an eye out, just like drivers do. One man was performing some impressive stunts, but then something unexpected happened. He came just inches away from colliding with another skier. If they had crashed, it could have resulted in some serious injuries. Luckily, he avoided the collision. But next time, he'll definitely keep a bit more distance. After all, safety comes first on the slopes. Rocky close call.
Oh, it's so... Whoa!
These friends were hiking in the Rocky Mountains, but didn't stick to the regular trail. They kept climbing higher without proper gear. Soon, they reached a gap between two cliffs that needed a long jump. Two of them crossed safely, but the third, scared of heights, panicked. When he finally jumped, he nearly slipped. His friend quickly grabbed him just in time and pulled him up. One wrong move, and this adventure could have ended very differently.
Oh, it's so... Whoa!
No way out. Imagine being trapped underwater with no way out. That's exactly what happened to a diver exploring a narrow passage. While installing a guideline, the bubbles and movement caused complete darkness, and the passage ahead ended. Turning around, a massive rock blocked the way, and the guideline disappeared beneath it. Feeling a certain end of him was near, panic took over. But there was a glimmer of hope. A small space above the rock allowed the diver to remove their tank and squeeze through. They made it out, but not without facing the scariest moment of their entire diving career. Woods mystery.
Hello?
A biker was cruising through the woods when suddenly he heard someone calling for help. Without hesitation, he rode towards the sound. As he followed the trail, he noticed something strange. Bones scattered along the path. Despite the eerie sight, he pushed on, determined to help. But then, a fallen tree blocked the road, as if someone had purposely placed it there. He tried everything to clear the way, but it was impossible. Another cry for help echoed in the distance, but this time, he decided to leave. What was out there? The mystery remained unsolved. Life-saving jump. Now this one's straight out of a movie. These guys were out rock climbing when one of them slipped midway. Normally, this kind of fall gets stopped by the safety gear. But nope, his support popped right out of the rock. But his friend Espen, who was handling the rope from below, didn't freeze. He jumped backwards, tightening the rope and saving the whole situation like an action hero. Pretty sure Nikolai owes him free snacks for life after that move. That GoPro caught the exact moment. Super close call, but also kind of epic. Scary tunnel. Exploring dark tunnels sounds scary enough, but what if the lights suddenly flicked on? That's exactly what happened to a guy named Shayi during his wild mission. He sneaked into an old underground bunker hidden deep beneath the ground. But this wasn't just empty and dusty. This place still had working lights. The halls lit up like someone was still living there. He kept walking, nervous but curious, as if he was trespassing in a secret world. No guards, no warning signs, just him, and the hum of electricity. Some adventures leave you with more questions than answers. And this one, it felt like something was watching. Ghostly footsteps.
Elizabeth's throat.
This one's straight up spooky, but also kinda cool. So this guy and his wife were filming a video about Elizabeth Walsh at Burnley Cemetery when they suddenly heard loud footsteps, like a child running through dry leaves.
Elizabeth's throat.
They were sure someone would walk by, but nope, not a soul in sight. Just the sound, clear as day. And then, nothing. The weird part was that there were no kids around, and definitely no birds or sneaky cats either. That GoPro picked it up, and yeah, it's a bit freaky. Honestly, if a ghost kid wanted attention, mission totally accomplished.
Elizabeth's throat.
Backup saves day. This skydiver was just out enjoying a regular jump when, his main parachute gave up on him mid-air. And for a moment there, it was probably a full movie trailer playing in his head. But thankfully, he had a backup parachute. He pulled the cord, it opened smoothly, and just like that, the whole vibe switched from panic to peaceful floating. Honestly, that second parachute deserves a medal, or at least a thank you note. 1 second he's tumbling like laundry. Next he's back to enjoying the view. Quick trip down. This skydiver geared up, took off, and was all set for a long, breezy flight. But nature had other plans. Because of low air pressure, the parachute didn't stay up for long. Just a few seconds into the ride, she gently glided down and landed super close to the mountain she jumped from. It was like booking a long flight and getting off at the next stop. Everything was chill, no worries at all. Honestly, the way she floated down, it looked more like a test run than a full adventure. Still cool though, just extremely short. Giant gator. While fishing for tarpon in Florida, a man had an unbelievable close call. As he cast his line early in the morning, a massive 10-foot alligator appeared out of nowhere and charged at him. The man barely had time to react, running to avoid the creature's powerful approach. For a few heart-stopping seconds, he was in a full-on chase with the alligator, his escape hanging by a thread. Miraculously, he made it to safety without a scratch. It was a terrifying reminder of how quickly things can go from calm to chaos, and just how lucky he was to walk away unharmed.
Well, that puts an end to my tarpon fishing.
Scary fall. You know it's a wild ride when your ski trip ends inside a hole. Jamie Mulner was gliding smoothly down the Swiss Alps, recording it all on his GoPro, when suddenly the ground beneath him vanished. Literally. He crashed straight into a hidden crevasse, dropping about 60 feet inside solid ice. No warning, no time to react. His GoPro kept rolling as he called for help from deep below. Amazingly, he survived without serious injury. It's not every day a skiing trip turns into an icy freefall. Some footage makes you cheer. This one makes you hold your breath.
I'm okay, I'm just,
Camping turned wild. A group of friends went camping in the woods, craving adventure and fresh air. As they wandered deeper, they stumbled upon a quiet lake tucked between the Rocky Mountains. It looked like something out of a dream, calm, still, and glowing in the sunlight. Excited, one of them climbed a tall, rocky cliff and leaped straight into the water. The second friend followed, but paused at the top, nervous and unsure. Before he could decide, the rocks beneath his feet suddenly broke apart and fell straight down, into the same spot where his friend had just landed seconds earlier. Miraculously, he was fine. Cliff fall survival. A hiker in China had a close call when he slipped down a steep mountainside, capturing the terrifying moment on his 360-degree camera. Yang Meng, 42, was hiking through the Fanzhengjian Mountains when the rain-soaked rocks caused him to lose control. As he slid faster, he realized he couldn't stop. The dramatic footage has been widely shared on Douyin, China's version of TikTok, with nearly 445,000 shares. Despite the scary fall, Meng was fortunate to escape without serious injuries. A truly close call that left everyone watching in disbelief. One slip away. While crossing a deep crevasse using a metal ladder, a climber slipped and ended up hanging upside down. But all hail to his Sherpa team, which didn't panic and reacted instantly. With ropes in hand and steady nerves, they secured him and pulled him back to safety. It wasn't just a rescue. It was a miracle stitched together by timing, teamwork, and raw courage. Slippery escape. This snowboarder was just enjoying a ride down a snow-covered street, possibly somewhere in Russia. But what started as a fun glide quickly turned into a life-threatening moment. As he picked up speed, he didn't realize he was heading toward a sharp drop near a cliff. The icy road offered no grip, and he skidded dangerously close to the edge. Just a few more feet, and he would have gone over. A gas station stood nearby, adding to the odd and risky setting. This wasn't a stunt, just a near-tragic accident caught on camera. He got lucky that day, but the road nearly turned his thrill into a terrifying fall. Plane. This paraglider was soaring through the sky, enjoying the view, when disaster almost struck. As he floated through the clouds, a small plane came into view, heading straight toward him. The plane flew dangerously close, missing the paraglider's line by mere feet. The pilot of the plane appeared unaware of the close call, continuing on without a second glance. One wrong move, and it could have been a completely different story. Careless biker. The biker was speeding down the trail, going full throttle without much care. Suddenly, a group of hikers appeared right in front of him, and he came dangerously close to crashing into them. It was a near miss, just inches away from disaster. His reckless speed could have hurt everyone around him, but by sheer luck, he dodged the collision. I hope next time he will be careful. Nearly fall. This hiker was moving along a rocky mountain path when his foot suddenly slipped. For a second, it looked like he might fall off the edge. The narrow trail had a steep drop on one side, and the rocks beneath him didn't seem very stable. But somehow, he managed to regain his balance just in time. Breathing heavily, he kept going, clearly shaken but safe. Desert Tap. This biker's cruising through a desert safari with GoPro on, catching all the action. Bikes, jeeps, dust flying everywhere. Everything's going smooth until he takes a jump off a dune. And surprise, there's a jeep right where he's about to land. He somehow manages to steer just enough, and the ride continued. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This YouTuber decided to explore a train tunnel with his friend, but little did they know how risky it would be. Armed with his GoPro, he went deeper into the tunnel, completely unaware of the dangers ahead. Suddenly, the sound of a train's roar echoed through the tunnel.
Hey, train! Turn off your lights!
Panic set in, and they immediately sprinted to get out of the way. In this mad dash, they ran as fast as they could, just managing to escape before the train arrived. Terrified and realizing their mistake, they couldn't believe how close they came to disaster.